A few months ago, I did a retrospective on a demo version of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and I was very impressed with the gameplay and visuals. 3 weeks after the demo, I managed to purchase the game at launch and it was priced around $60. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is the newest game in the Kirby series and is the first full-length Kirby game seen as a 3D platformer. This takes the ideas from several Kirby's cancelled GameCube games as well as a 3DS sub-game, Kirby's Blowout Blast. Now, while I was recording and playing the game, I tried my best to avoid any spoilers online, so that my first impressions and thoughts on the game are brand new. Also, seeing as this game is still relatively new, I won't go into the game's story because I want you guys to witness the game fresh and blind, and I don't want this video going to be a bit long. If you still want to know the story, I suggest playing the game first before you check in this video. So without further ado, salutations people of the internet, welcome to the database, and welcome to my full-length retrospective on the newest Kirby game in the series, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Our story begins with Kirby taking a spring breeze stroll until the Waddle and Kirby of Dreamland get sucked up into the mysterious vortex, and thus Kirby lands by a nearby forest where we get accustomed to controlling Kirby in 3D. I mentioned this before in the demo version video that you can check here, by the way. Kirby's control feels very great with his signature inhale flow being a bit too heavy. I mentioned that this is a way for players to not cheat the stage, but that's actually a good thing because while I was playing the game, I barely use the inhale flow for platforming stages and sometimes reserve it for boss fights. After traversing the first stage, you meet and rescue a light blue creature named Elfilin and a bunch of Waddle from a beast pack of Wolfies. Beast packs are being the game's group of enemies. After Elfilin and Kirby hop on a warp star, Kirby's adventure into the new world begins, and the map here is very open to travel. Each world has at least 4 platforming stages and a boss fight, where to unlock the boss stage you might need to rescue a minimal threshold amount of Waddle before going in. To rescue them, each stage gives you a list of objectives to complete, which rewards you with a certain amount of Waddle. Most of these rewards can be easily found if you know the platformer's handbook of fighting secrets. You see a crack on the wall? Alternate route. Look at every nook and cranny, beat up every object in sight, and jump on anything that is jumpable because I want that 100% save file, dang it. Though there were times where I might need to revisit a stage because I missed an objective and must go through the whole stage again. Don't worry, some of these stages aren't that long. Each world has star portals like Kirby's Return to Dreamland up here called Treasure Roads. These consist of challenges based on testing your skills on Kirby's pre-given copy abilities, as well as Kirby's mouthful modes and evolved copy abilities. These challenges are a great series of tests to beat. Some I would admit can be very hard than others. All reward you with rare stones to use to evolve Kirby's copy abilities. Each star portal also has a target time that rewards you with more star coins. Some target times can be very strict and I never bothered checking those off. Luckily, you don't need these to 100% the game. Those coins I mentioned can be spent within the Waddle town where you can spend a bunch of stuff here. From health items and power-ups, chill and relax in Kirby's house, to upgrading your copy abilities. It can only be done when you find scrolls scattered in some of the stages in each world. There's also a theater host of previous cinematic cutscenes you've seen before, gacha machines where you spend star coins and collect these neat figures of Kirby's characters and set pieces in the game, and Waddle delivers where, with only online access, you can type out secret codes that will give you special items like more star coins. All of them can be found online, though some of them can be used only for a limited time, so watch out. There are a ton of stuff you can do in Waddle Town, and I won't go over all of them here, but I like how the town becomes more livelier the more Waddle you rescued. A nice piece of motivation for 100% completion. So there are 12 copy abilities in this game, probably the smallest amount of copy abilities in the Kirby series. However, to make up for this small amount comes in the form of mouthful mode and evolved abilities. Mouthful mode are easy to find and activate. You see these large objects with a special effect and prop? All it takes is one swallow button and you're given access to a unique moveset catered to that object Kirby swallows. Drive at high speeds with Kirby, hop on a boat as Ringby and use Kirby as a gusting sail. Room too dark? Have Kirby swallow a light bulb. With all these mouthful modes can be seen such as situational and locked to specific stages. Having to try these modes out for the first time is a fun blast, and keeps me wondering what other modes do next. Then there's 12 copy abilities under evolved forms. Now there are 12 basic types of copy abilities, but totaling the number of evolved abilities in the game, we got a total of 35 abilities to work with, which opens a ton of replayability, which I'm always for. While we got Kirby's classic abilities from Hammer, a Sword, and Fire Ice abilities, we're gifted with 2 new abilities that make their debut here in this game, Drill Kirby and Ranger Kirby, and both are alright. The Drill, while powerful underground, having to attack in mid-air feels kinda awkward as Kirby dives down in an arc. Ranger Kirby might be my favorite of the two. The only problem I have is having to fire a shot that takes too long to charge, and this reticle shown here is very slow to move, even if it auto-locks onto a nearby enemy. Copy abilities can be upgraded by locating blueprints in some of the stages. These can be taken to a blacksmith Waddle, and each upgrade requires a certain amount of star coins and rare stones. Once upgraded, you can switch back to a copy ability's original form for personal preference and power up existing ability forms post-game. Hope you enjoy farming for those star coins. For me, I like to come back to Waddleton and equip myself with the sword or ranger abilities when entering a new stage. I even like to use this time crash evolved ability for boss fights. Boss fights have been given an all new overhaul structure. Aside from unlocking the bosses by saving Waddle-Dees, bosses are now handled in a contained flat 3D stage, open for new angles of attacks. Each boss has their own unique moveset that is easy to recognize and counteract by challenging enough to beat them without getting hit, which is also one of those objectives you'll find in each stage to rescue more Waddle-Dees. You got familiar faces like a new tropical version of Wispy Woods, and new faces that are part of the Beast Pack. These bosses can also be played in Coliseum in Waddleton. The worlds in Kirby and Forgotten Land are nothing new but uniquely stunning. You start off in an abandoned city, then you traverse through stages like an amusement park, a deserted wasteland, ending the adventure off in a volcanic world consisting of a mysterious research facility. I won't spoil the end of the main story, but all I can say is there is additional post-game content in the form of Forgo Lands. These are just a series of confined stages of each world from the main story, but with harder bosses and enemies, and unlike other extra mode campaigns, which were mostly serve as what-if scenarios, this serves as a continuation from the main story, which is a very nice pace to see. As to what you get for 100% completion, there isn't a whole lot, aside from this picture that says you did it. But to me, I don't mind the lack of rewards after 100%. Because this isn't what the game is mostly about. This is Kirby's first mainline 3D platformer, the first in the next generation of Kirby games going forward. Exploring these 3D landscapes feel very breathtaking for a Kirby game. It is so satisfying to move around and search for every secret and collectible in each stage. Every copy ability and their evolved forms are so cool to try out. I'm sorry, I said that while I was in a cold stage, am I? And for the newest Kirby game in the series, it sure is the hottest game released on this. Damn it, I did it again. Alright, I gotta pick my clips carefully. What else is there I talked about? The music is neat. You got music from the first stage, which is one of my favorites, not to mention the sick, awesome beats from a certain king. But of course, I gotta give the spotlight to Kirby's first, and so far, the only song in the series that has vocals. It's not necessarily sang in English, seeing as we're traversing to a new world and makes sense. But trying to sing the lyrics to the song makes me want to have this song on repeat. And that was Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This one took me a while to upload, mostly because I started making this video right around the end of college semester, so I was piled with final projects and exams. Hopefully I can get back to uploading videos back to a consistent date next week. With all, thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. It will mean so much to me if you thumbs up the video if you like it, subscribe to the database, and follow me on social media as seen above. I'm active on Instagram and Twitter, so be sure to tune into those for news on this channel. This is CJ Styles signing off, and have a wonderful day.